Welcome back, everyone, to the Alpha Jedi podcast. Today, we are very excited to have our guest, Vlad the Conqueror, here today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
Good, good. Just another nice sunny day down here in Los Angeles, so it's cannot complain. Cannot complain at all.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit newer to kind of the blogger and Twitter sphere. What inspired you to make that leap to get in there and really start blogging and kind of put your name out there?
It's kind of tough to say exactly what it was. It's probably a combination of things. It really kind of started, I think, early last year in 2017. I went on a deployment to the Navy, and I pretty much had this coworker with me the entire time, and he was like relatively decent with women and fitness and stuff like that. But I kind of like I coached him across those entire 7 months. We did like workouts and stuff together. I taught him like everything I knew about game, and he had some pretty solid results after that. And that's kind of like when I realized that I was actually pretty good. I mean, like good at teaching and knowledgeable enough to like help other guys out. And I also knew that kind of realized somewhere around January or February this year that I wanted to like start a personal brand or business doing this as well. And for the most part, I've been doing fairly well so far, even though I'm relatively new to the scene.
Very nice. And what is sort of your game background? How did you kind of come across it and discover it, and then make it work for you?
A lot of it was trial and error growing up. I didn't have any really good resources, especially around the time that I was like 18, 19. I think about a year before I left for the Navy, I kind of discovered online dating, and I was using that a lot, pretty much just OkCupid. And I was like going out on like meetups and dates with girls that way, and I kind of like slowly started developing my game in a sense because I had to go out, meet women, talk to them, and so and so. And then eventually I kind of evolved. I stopped using online dating, and in the last couple of years, I just been focusing a lot on like going out in person and meeting girls that way. Although when I was on my deployment last year, I rediscovered CMQ's blog, and I just like devoured all of his content, and I started applying all of that, with my own game and personality. And that's kind of what, with all that trial and error and experience, has really helped shape my own personal game over the years.
Yeah, his blog was definitely very influential in a lot of the stuff that I wound up implementing and incorporating into sort of my game style. And what I do like about his blog is that it's a big focus on the game aspect of it, but also there's a large focus on the complete lifestyle aspect of it too, which I think is an important balance to kind of strike and maintain.
Absolutely.
So the name Vlad the Conqueror, how did that title or name sort of come about? I mean, it is a fairly epic name, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I had to make sure to choose an unforgettable pen name. So I mean, the Conqueror, kind of self-explanatory. I needed like a really powerful adjective or noun for the name. Vlad, I don't know. I mean, I am Russian per se. I mean, I'm American, I'm a first generation American, but my entire family is like Russian, Ukrainian, and I don't know. Vlad just struck me as like a very, I mean, it's funny, but it works, and it's kind of I don't know. I don't know, it's kind of a gamble when I started off, but it kind of took off, so I'm kind of just sticking with it now. It's pretty funny because nowadays, whenever I go out, I just tell girls my name's Vlad, and a lot of the time, like they don't believe me at all. Then I just start like talking Russian to them, and they believe me after that. So it's pretty funny.
Oh, there you go. So typically, when you're going out, what's how would you describe your ideal environment that you do well in, as well as what's more of your game style? Where some guys are very kind of just super direct. Other guys are a little bit more like coy and playful. Whereabouts do you normally go out, doing your shenanigans, and what's your style like?
Well, definitely in the last couple of years, I've gotten really good at night game and being relatively direct. Not like super direct, but like kind of,
Hmm.
I don't know, definitely not coy and playful at all, because I have a certain style. I look a certain way. I mean, the area I'm in, there's not a lot of amazing like places to go that would really allow me to like, suit up and go all out. There are a
Hmm.
lot of kind of decent bars, a couple like clubs, quote unquote, but nothing. There's no real like nightclub type environment. I mean, I'm close to Virginia Beach, so it's a very military town, not a small town per se, but just in the sense that there's like a lot of like country type bars and clubs. But instead of me
Hmm.
going out wearing flannels and cowboy boots, I'll go out in like jeans, V-necks, fitted
Hmm.
shirts that I'll kind of stand out my own certain way, and especially like in like country club type or country bars or whatever, I stand out well there because I'm not dressed like everyone else. And even in the other
Hmm.
like bar, like beach bars they have in the area, that's what's really helped me stand out pretty well with my style. And I haven't really made any adjustments. I did actually go to New York for the first time back in April for a CAD Club event, and that was like my first time like in a really big city. I mean, I thrived there pretty well too. I feel like my style was pretty universal, so that was
Okay.
you know it's definitely worked pretty well.
Yeah, and it's a lot of game and all that is about really figuring out kind of what your personal style is, as well as not just your actual clothing style, but also just like your sort of game style. And that way you can take that and kind of adapt it and adjust it accordingly, depending on what environments you're on. But the core baseline kind of stays the same.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was yeah, definitely when I was younger, I was kind of like lost. I was kind of not 100% sure of my own style and personality, but I was doing a lot of things to like impress women, so and so. But as I've matured somewhat, I've kind of just developed my own style. I don't change for anyone, but women just attracted to me like that, so it's
Hmm.
worked pretty well.
And so you're a really good storyteller, and I've definitely enjoyed reading a lot of your email stories. Are you planning on doing like any type of anthology where you're gonna have like a collection of stories, or are you just kind of sending them out as you're thinking of them right now, and maybe at some point down the line there might be a collective of stories that we'll have access to.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really thought of like putting them all together as a collective because I kind of, um, I mean, oftentimes I go out and I do experience some pretty crazy wild stuff and I just write about it. Because I've never like really written about game and women in my own life experiences up until like March when I first started my Twitter and then email list after that. Although
Hmm.
before that, I've always been like telling my stories in person, just recounting it to friends and coworkers, and I've always gotten some interesting reactions there. So I guess it just translated really well to when I started writing about it. In terms of like collecting them all and stuff like that, what I've pretty much been doing is I'm working on like my in-depth nightlife book. I've been taking the principles behind my stories and like breaking them down as to like why I did what I did, why it works, how to sort of replicate it to yourself without like copying it, and that's kind of the approach that I've been taking.
Very cool. And so, what's one of the wildest stories that you have from your experiences out there in the field?
Hmm. Well, a lot of them are pretty wild. Mm, this one isn't so much super wild. It's just really funny. Um, I've never written about this, but I was in Dubai on a port visit on my deployment. Um, so yeah, I was in Dubai for a few nights. I went out with my friends. It was Ramadan, so pretty much everything was closed. But me, I was like stuck on a ship for a few months. I had to get out. I wasn't just content to just sit in a restaurant and do nothing. So I kind of found the guys that like looked cool, like looked like they knew what was up. I talked to them. I was like, guys, there's got to be some kind of bar club around here that's popping off even during Ramadan. And they said, yeah, there's a place so and so. Like it's like on the 40th floor of some hotel in like downtown Dubai or whatever. I was like, cool, we're going there. So we went there, and all of a sudden this place was just completely popping off. It was just like insanity in there. I mean, you have to realize, especially during Ramadan, if everything else is closed and like quiet, up there it's just like, pretty wild. But anyways, so I go in there with my friend, and obviously I've been teaching him all that game stuff for a while. And this is like our first chance to like go out and like implement everything, but for him at least. And we went up there. We were definitely not sober at all. We definitely had a few too many. But at one point, we we just approached these two chicks. One of them looked like some like Arabian princess looking chick, and the other one was like her weird blonde friend. And the weird blonde friend was like for some reason just like not having it at all with my friend. And at that point, I was like, all right, now we're bouncing. So we just like walked around, started talking to other chicks, and then towards the end, it was like maybe 2 a.m. I lost my friend. And this Arabian princess chick just like runs up to me out of nowhere, and she's like, "Hey, like I talked to you early, blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, my friend didn't like you guys at all." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Oh, well, she thought you guys were dressed like assholes, blah blah." And I was like, "Take it or leave it." And she's like, "Well, I want to hang out, but I she's like, I can't leave my blonde friend." I was like, "All right, fine. Well, look, here's the deal. I lost my friend. So how about you go find your friend, let her know you're leaving. We'll go hang out." So okay. We go over to the dance floor. Her blonde friend sees me like talking with her friend, and she like starts screaming. She's like, "No, like blah blah, he's such an asshole, whatever." And as she's doing that, she's so drunk and like delirious that she falls down, and she pulls down like 10 people around her and just causes like a complete like tables fall, everything falls. I just like stop. I just turn like me and this Arabian princess just turn and look at each other, right? And we look back at the floor, her on the floor. We look back at each other again, and she's like, "Yeah, let's fucking go." So we just bounced after. We bounced after that. As I'm leaving, I text my friend. I don't know where the fuck he is. I text him. I was like, "Hey, I don't know where you're at, dude, but if you're good, I'll fucking see you back at the hotel." So we take a cab back to the hotel. We get to my hotel. We go downstairs to the elevator, and what do you call it? The hotel receptionist kind of gives me like this weird look as I'm walking in with this chick. Just like kind of eyes me, and I'm like, okay. And we go up to my room, and as we go up to my room, I remember that earlier that day I was having problems with my room key, and I was like, I really hope this doesn't fucking happen right now. So yeah, so we get up there, and of course I try to use my fucking room key, and it doesn't work. I'm like, all right, fucking great. So we go back downstairs. We go to the hotel receptionist. This chick's just staying next to me, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going, man? I need my key unlocked." He's like, he just like smiles at me, like just all bright-eyed and like, "Unlock my key, dude. Thanks." And he locks my key. We go upstairs. We have another drink. We start hooking up, and about 5 minutes later, we're hooking up, and the phone starts ringing, and I was like, okay, I feel like this has something to do with that weird receptionist downstairs. I'm like, just in case I'm going to answer the phone. So I answer the phone, and word for word, I'm pretty sure this is what he said. I answer the phone, pick it up. I'm like, hello? And the guy on the phone is like, "Good evening, sir. It is my understanding that you have a late night female companion up there with you." I started laughing. I'm like, what? He's like, "Well, there's no problem with it, but hotel policies, we can't have guests, that we haven't checked their IDs. It's a security policy measure, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, so what's your point? He's like, well, I mean, I'm security up to check this girl's ID to make sure that, everything's good. And I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. So I hang the phone up. I'm like, I tell the girl, she's like laying there naked on my bed. I'm like, well, I mean, apparently there's a security issue. They have to check your ID. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, I was concerned that might happen because, I don't remember exactly what she said. She said something like, yeah, I thought this might happen. This has happened before. She's like, yeah, I mean, like, it's Ramadan, so it's kind of sketch. And, like, I'm actually a Muslim, so I might get in trouble for this. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
You're going to get this girl honor killed.
Yeah, I'm like, you better get stoned. Anyways, so and then a couple minutes later, I got a knock on the door. I open the door. It's a security guard. He's like super chill. He's smiling. He's like, hey man, no worries. I just need her ID. I'm like, all right, cool. So, I fucking give the security guard this girl's ID. Blah blah. He comes back. He said it's all good, and I was like, all right, cool. We finally hook up. That's it. And then, felt like maybe half an hour later, my friend just like, I'm like already starting to pass out. My friend just like bursts in, just completely blackout drunk, and he just like he just starts saying like, dude, like, I don't know where the fuck I ended up. I think I ended up at like this huge house party with like these 6 chicks, and like I think they invited me back, but like I think I was so drunk that I don't know how I got invited back to their place, but as soon as I got there, I'm pretty sure I drank all their liquor and they kicked me out for some reason. And I was like, oh well, fuck it. I mean, at least you're alive. And then the girl recognized him. She's like, oh hey, like my blonde friend didn't like you. He's like, I have this whole video saved of it. He's like, yeah, well, fuck your blonde friend. She's being a bitch. And she was like, well, I mean, yeah. She was like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like stumbling around drunk, and she was like, why are you so mad? He's like, because like I got kicked out of this place, blah blah. He's just like ranting and ranting. I'm just like dying there. I'm just sitting there dying and laughing. And at one, I don't know. He just started like they started arguing. Like it was so fucking. They were arguing back and forth until eventually she was like, "Fuck this, I have to leave." And honestly, I wanted to kick her out. I wanted to go to sleep. I didn't want her to sleep there. But their argument just made her leave on her own, and then she finally just fucking left. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That's kind of how I buy Dubai flag. So
with friends like these.
Interesting. First time in Dubai. Definitely made the most of that port visit. That was definitely one of the funnier situations I've been in, at least overseas. But yeah.
It's actually quite hilarious. So how many people, I guess, would you say that you helped, like, kind of in person? Have you been working with people in person like a lot and helped out a bunch of people, or has it been more just like kind of helping out friends one-on-one here and then parlaying that knowledge over to your blog?
Well, I mean, that guy, he was my coworker and friend on deployment, and he moved back to San Diego, and then he got out of the Navy. But like I haven't had a chance to like really help him in depth in person. But once I started kind of writing and helping guys online, like March, April, May, guys were saying, oh yeah, your stuff really helps, like keep writing it. I was all right, cool. I just kept helping out. And then at one point, I think it was late May, early June, I was out at one of my regular spots and I saw this youngish kind of dude walking around, and I had seen him like the night before or whatever, and he kind of comes up to me and he's like, hey man, like, do you have a cigarette? I just looked at him and I was like, normally I fucking hate when people do that, but I looked at him, he was just like wearing a fucking hat, t-shirt and shorts, but it's pretty good looking. I could kind of tell he had like potential, and I was like, fuck it, dude. And I was like, all right, here's your fucking cigarette. What's up? What's your name, bro? We start chatting, and then he goes away somewhere, and then later that night, I ended up I left with these 2 girls. One of them was super into me, and the other girl, she was I guess she hadn't found a guy yet that night, and I was walking around with them back to their hotel room, and the blonde was like, well, I met this guy earlier, blah blah. I think I'm gonna invite him over. And we get back in the hotel room, she's like, yeah, I'm calling him over. I was like, fuck that. There's more than I'll fucking handle both of you tonight, sweetheart. And she's like, no, he's already on the way. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So half an hour later, the fucking hotel door opens and the same fucking young dude walks in. We both just there and start fucking laughing. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So after that, we became friends pretty quick. We just like drank like all their alcohol and banged them both and just bounced in the morning. And I got his number. We started hanging out a lot. I kind of like took him under my wing. I taught him like style and everything. So now I used to go out solo a lot, but now I'm going out a lot with him. Just one, it's kind of fun with a wingman. Plus, I've been helping him out a lot. With style, and everything. Yeah, so that's like kind of my one really good example of helping a guy out in person and him having like really good results.
Yeah, it is amazing how much of an impact a really solid wingman can have. Me and my best friend, we get after it, and we've actually been called the most classless scoundrels anyone's ever met. And before by this one chick that tried to order drinks on our tab, but it was at a place that we normally go to, and the entire venue was not having it. So they're just like, honey, you fucked up. You're in the wrong. Like, we know these dudes. You got to pay for your own drinks here. So it was actually hilarious. We kind of dubbed ourselves that after that. But yeah, having a good wingman to go out with can really boost your game a lot. It's just that energy that you both kind of feed off each other, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been pretty fun in our area recently. Because everyone, like especially at our usual spots, a lot of the staff and security recognize us now, and a lot of the girls do too. And they're like, they tell their girlfriends, "Oh no, stay away from them. They're assholes." And then the hot ones just come up and talk to us anyway. So.
Of course, there's nothing like having a warning label or disclaimer to just attract people. In your experience, what I guess are kind of the top mistakes a lot of guys make when they're kind of starting out, trying to figure out their game? What are the common issues a lot of guys are facing nowadays?
I would say definitely just kind of like being in your head too much and having like kind of the wrong mindset. It kind of stems from like a lack of confidence, but at the same time, you can fake confidence until you make it, but it all comes from like having a really strong mindset. For one, like if you kind of go out and you fix your style, you're looking good, you're working out, you're healthy, you're confident, whatever. Your only real crutch to your game is you not approaching. I've seen that a ton of times. I see that a lot, especially guys will be just buried on their phones. Obviously, they're so used to like the 10 swipe generation and all that, to the point where like I've literally seen a few times guys have been out and I've overheard conversations where the guy's like, "Oh shit, like I matched that girl on Tinder." I used to look at him and I was like, "Dude, go fucking talk to her." I was like, "What the fuck?" So yeah, just like that. That's definitely just fear of approaching. I used to have that approach anxiety and everything. But the easiest way to beat it is just like try to make a snap reaction. Like when you see a hot girl, just go up, say, "Hey, how's it going? What's up?" Like no fucking pickup line. Just go say, "Hey." You get rejected, you get rejected. It's whatever. It's their fucking loss.
Yeah, I think it's didn't mean to cut you off there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was gonna say, I think it's definitely interesting if you've got just a couple drops of confidence in your bucket. It's like easier than ever to approach because so many guys out there just aren't doing it. So now is the time where I think we're hitting that point where the pendulum's swinging, where it's if you're a guy that's got confidence and a sense of game, you're going to be able to crush it in a much greater capacity than ever before. And if you're that guy that's can't overcome your own mindset, or your game is just that lacking and you don't work on it, then it's going to be the worst time ever for you.
Yeah, because you can read about this stuff for hours, online and books, but if you don't go out and implement, regardless if it's in a bar, club, night game, day game, just like kind of start talking to people. I used to be like super introverted when I was younger, but now I'm somewhat able to like kind of try and switch it on a lot when I'm out. But it's so simple. It's like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" Just to everyone, and especially the girls. "What's up, ladies? What are you celebrating?" Blah blah. Flirt. Try and pull them or get their number, bounce. Like it's not that hard if you're kind of just like if you're just confident and you're just like not afraid of rejection.
Yeah, and I'm the exact same way where I'm a very extroverted introvert now. Where at my core I'm still an introvert. Like I like to hang out and just do me. That's how I recharge. But when I'm out, like building that collective energy and just talking to kind of everybody and just having some interesting conversations and just kind of having fun with it. I think people lose sight of game being the operative word, and that it is kind of like a game. It's like, how many people can I talk to tonight, and how much fun can I possibly have tonight? It's, you never know exactly how it's going to work out or play, but you gotta have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I personally really enjoy about night game, and like kind of like trying to meet and pull women that same night, because it's like it's always new, it's always a challenge, back and forth, damn, this game, So that's what I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, and I definitely appreciate your email that went out today about Archer, because I am quite a fan of that show, and it's definitely I've used several quotes out in the field, and they've worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I finally had a chance to just write about it, so I've gotten a few positive feedbacks from it so far. Yeah, I've definitely like learned just a lot just from like movies and characters like that over the years. I think it's so much like a lot more so because I was very introverted when I was younger, so I just like just delved deep into like movies and TV shows, and kind of just was able to take away a lot of the good characteristics and kind of implement them with my life. And now that I'm like older and I've seen the results, I'm able to like, especially from like Bond movies and other movies and like Archer, I'm able to like see like the nuances of like why it works, even though it's a fiction per se. Like, it's still real,
Right. It's the theory behind it that still translates. So it's essentially it's social science fiction, and so to speak. Or it's a fictional character, but there's a lot of social science that goes into it that actually is legit and works. It's just applied in a more of a fantasy type environment, but that still doesn't mean that there's not it cannot be a very powerful learning tool.
Yeah.
Which for me is something that going back and rewatching a lot of old movies or media, like after kind of opening my eyes to sort of the red pill and viewing it all through that lens, there's just so much more that stands out, and it makes a whole lot more sense. So it's been kind of a wild ride.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of sad for a lot of guys who help. So yeah.
So I know that you're relatively new to the scene, but what's your goals for this year, and then what's up and coming for the near future for you?
Well, I mean, ever since I started, I've been kind of just slowly progressing. I started off on Twitter, writing all my stuff there. And I created my email list. I have a site, but I haven't really had a chance to like really blog or anything per se. I mean, one, I'm not super technically sound. I mean, even though I work in cybersecurity, I have no idea how to work websites and shit. So anyways, I've been doing that. Kind of work on my email list. So my goals are just to keep building my email list, and then release like my first book, at least on nightlife, and kind of just keep building this up. Kind of similar to the way Christian McQueen does it. He's a big influence on me, and guys like Goldman I've discovered recently as well. So I just take a lot of inspiration from them. So I hope to do a similar thing and build a business and brand doing that, because I mean I definitely don't want to work a real corporate type job once I get out of the Navy. So that's definitely why I'm very passionate about pursuing this.
Yeah, it's a good service. You're definitely be able to help a lot of folks out. So so if people want to find you, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, you can either find me on Twitter at Conqueror Vlad, and then my site, you can sign up for my email list at realvtc.com/free. You'll get my free nightlife rules ebook as well from there. And then other than that, those are the two best ways to follow me and get in touch with me. So, yep.
All right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And for those of you listening out there, definitely get on the email list. I'm on it. There's definitely some really good, dope content. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I will definitely say that, you guys should definitely check it out. You're missing out if you aren't already on it. And yeah, hopefully, we're wishing for the best of luck for you, sir, in your future endeavors. And, hopefully we'll have you back on the podcast at some point and check back in with you at a later time, and we'll follow up with you then.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, a pleasure. So that'll do it for this episode. You guys can find me on Twitter at The Alpha Jedi, or you can also subscribe to the podcast either on YouTube or on SoundCloud. That'll do it for this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.